All right, let's call the meeting to order for the Wednesday, December 16th, 2020 BZA meeting. If you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do a quick explanation of the process, and then we'll do a roll call vote. Good evening. It says in here, ladies and gentlemen. I only see gentlemen here this evening, so for those of you not familiar with the board process, a brief explanation is in order. Sequence of events is as follows. The appeals will be heard first. Other business of the board will follow the hearing of the appeals. You're welcome to stay for the entire meeting, but you're not required to do so. All those that are testifying before the board will be sworn in. This will be done either as a group or individually. Anyone addressing the board is requested to use the speaker stand. Each person is asked to give his or her name before testifying. Our meetings are recorded, so anyone speaking may be cross-examined by an attorney. All documents, photographs, or other evidence presented for this case may be accepted by the board. The chairman will rule whether the item being offered will be accepted or rejected. The person presenting each case will also withdraw a document. The zoning administrator or staff will present a brief summary or statement for each appeal. Once the BZA presentation is complete, the appellant will have the opportunity to present their case. Following the presentation, the chairman will then ask for anyone that is opposed or in favor of the appeal to speak. In some instances, we may present time limitation. Don't see that this evening. The board will then make a motion for the public portion to be closed. Then each individual board member will pose questions. The board member will ask individual who testified to return to the speaker podium to give their testimony. There needs to be at least 3 people on our board for us to constitute a quorum. According to Article 2 of the BZA bylaws, every official action of the board shall require at least 3 members, 3 affirmative votes for adoption. In the event of the situation where at least 3 members cannot attend the meeting will be postponed to the next board meeting. So tonight we do have 3 as a quorum. We will be calling our alternate shortly. Following the board questions, a motion and a second will be made by the members of the board to either approve or deny conditions of the appeal. The decisions of the board is effective 30 days from the vote. Finally, with respect for this process and one another is paramount, the deliberation for each case will be taken seriously by the board. Likewise, expected that we will be accorded to everyone regardless of emotion involved. No one's going to get upset here today, I'm sure of you. So I appreciate your attention. The next in the docket would be to do a roll call vote.
Mr. Bartelt?
Here.
Mr. Hill? Mr. Reiniger? Mr. Schupp? Mr. Roberta?
Present. I notice we have 3 that are vacant. We would need to call our alternate. Would you please call an alternate?
Mr. Weiskopf?
Present.
Yeah, thank you.
Does he need to be sworn in?
Did you swear us in already?
I haven't sworn anybody in technically, but has he been sworn in with the state? Yeah. Okay, I want to just make sure.
Yeah.
All right. So now we will do the swearing in part. So if anyone's going to be speaking this evening, if you please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth before this Board of Zoning Appeals? Say I do. I do. Thank you very much. You may be seated. So we're going to hear our first case, BZA 2020-07. This is a request for a variance for a front yard setback requirement. The location of the property is at 5744 Springdale Road. The applicant owner is the Triod3 Holdings LLC. That's what I'm reading. And does the staff have a presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We do.
I'm going to take my mask off for you. So, thank you.
The subject property is requesting a variance to construct a new commercial addition. And according to Table 8-2 of our zoning resolution, the minimum front yard setback for a commercial B2 property is 50 feet, but this setback only has a measurement of 29 feet. The property is located at 5744 Springdale Road. It's kind of in the triangle of Ronald Reagan and 275, located along the main commercial hub of Springdale Road. Here you can see that Soccer City is to the left and right, actually, and then we are actually to the north corner up there. If I could do a highlighter. Here's another aerial of the image. You can see that it abuts right south of 275. And Tags and NYPD Pizza and Barnesburg Tavern are actually to the south. And it'd help if I get the red dot up there, but there we go. Here's a direct aerial over the property. The property is home to Club Trios, which is just a bar and tavern. It's approximately 2.11 acres. The current building was built in 1970 and is approximately a little over 1,400 square feet, and Trios was established in 1993. The subject property is zoned B2 for general commercial. Most of the adjacent properties are additionally zoned B2, with the exception of the planned development business directly south with Barnesburg, Tags, and all that. Here's an image of the property facing north. It's been kind of dreary the past few days, so I apologize for not the sun in the background. Here's another picture across Springdale Road. Took a few minutes to cross there. And here is where the addition is going to go, right along here. Here's a site plan of the addition. Let me zoom in for you a little more. The addition's a 24 by 25, 600 square foot addition to expand the already existing outdoor seating and just converting it into indoor seating. They have to request a variance because an addition has different qualifications than an accessory structure. So if they were just to do an accessory structure, they would just have to meet the rear or side yard setback of 5 feet from each property line, as long as it's flush with the front. But since it's an addition, you have to be 50 feet away from the property line. The weird thing about this request is the supposed property line is technically, or the right-of-way is in the middle of Springdale Road. The county's description is of that. However, township staff thought it was appropriate to align it with the red line here, which would equal significantly less setback, thus the requirement for tonight's request. Here is a floor plan of the proposed structure, just your simple indoor seating. Here are elevation drawings of the structure. With this, as I said, B2 setbacks, or B2 zone properties always have to have a front yard setback of 50 feet. So the applicant tonight is requesting a variance of 21 feet. So this proposal sits 29 feet back. And then they're also proposing landscaping, but that's not really pertinent to the request tonight. With this, staff finds that the variance requested is not substantial since the right-of-way of Springdale Road proves to be inconsistent with the subject property as well as adjacent properties. 2, the granting of the variance would grant a consideration that is not available to other property owners in the neighborhood. 3, the property in question would likely yield a reasonable return without the variance. 4, the granting of the variance would probably not have a negative impact on neighboring properties. 5, approval of the variance would not affect delivery of government services. 6, there are no unusual topographic or site configuration issues related to this property, which would prevent the reasonable application of the front yard setback requirement. And then lastly, by taking into consideration the benefit to the applicant if the variance is granted as weighed against the potential detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood and broader community, staff finds substantial justice would be done by granting the variance for the front yard setback. So with this, staff's recommendation is approval of the variance, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you gentlemen might have.
Any questions for staff? I see none.
Well, I just, obviously the addition does not impact any other zoning issues like parking
Nope,
or anything else to consider.
correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's all.
All right. Does the applicant have a presentation? Just give your name and address for the record, please.
Stephen Hampton, I'm the architect for the project, address 110 East McMicken, Cincinnati, Ohio 45202. Thank you, members of the board. I think staff really laid out most of the issues. What we have is a site that is an existing non-conforming site due to the irregularities of the property lines. What we're doing with this addition, it is set back from the existing building. It would be very hard to push it all the way back to be fully within that setback. We'd only be able to connect to a small portion of the existing building, which would be very hard from a technical standpoint, the way the building's laid out. It's a attractive addition. It's going to be a good benefit for the neighborhood and for the community. As you asked, it's not adding any additional parking concerns. Basically, we're just converting some of the outdoor seating area to indoor, so there's no net change in occupant load or consequently any parking. And so we feel that this is a really good project that'll help a good local business stay viable in all these uncertain times. So that's all I have.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else that's to give a presentation in favor? Anyone in opposition? I see none. We have a motion to close the public portion.
Make the motion.
Okay, do we have a seconded?
Yeah.
Okay, motion is seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bartoltz?
Yes.
Mr. Weiskopf?
Yes.
Mr. Roberto?
Yes. Okay, we'll start off with questions. Mr. Bartle, I'll let you start off. Do you have any questions for the applicant?
I don't know. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay,
I mean, yeah, the biggest concern would be more occupants on the site, but like you say, it's taking the place of existing outdoor seating, I'm assuming. So that's not a concern. Obviously, it meets all the height requirements and any other issues related to zoning. I'm trying to think of what kind of detrimental reason to not do this would be, and I can't think of any.
okay.
Other than maybe they can turn the music down during the summer.
One of the things that we are doing.
Come to the podium if you don't mind, please. Thank
You
you.
mentioned, as far as the music, one of the things that we are doing that's included with this project, because, I was talking to, Chief Denny and some things last year, what we were gonna do is put up sound curtains and blah, blah, blah. Well, when we do this project, we're also gonna do some landscaping just on the outside of that fencing and have some giant arborvitaes put in there, which is gonna cut down any kind of, what we're hearing is typically not the music volume, it's the bounce back from that flat building right there, and it's bouncing right back into the neighborhood. Well, one, with this addition, that's gonna help with that bounce back, but also those trees that we're gonna put in there as well is gonna help with the bounce back and help with the noise issue and
Yeah.
stuff like that too. And we're always gonna keep it, at the earlier times. We're not gonna do it at 2:30 a.m. and all that kind of stuff too,
right,
so.
yeah.
Just for the record, please state your name and address.
Scott Doran, 5744 Springdale Road.
Perfect.
Cincinnati.
Thank you very much. And these guys have signed in. You have the sign-in sheet for them?
We signed in.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure we have it. All right, very good. You have any other questions? All right. Do you have any questions, Mr. Weiskopf?
No, mine was parking, it's addressed.
Okay, perfect. Signage is not changing along that? You're going to keep everything the way it is?
Same, everything. The only, besides the drawing, is the trees that we're gonna.
Okay. It sounds reasonable to me. It sounds like a good plan. It's silly because you're behind the existing buildingscape and you're not trying to move it forward, so you made it easy on us, actually. I have no other questions. Do we have anyone who would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the variance as presented by staff.
Okay, motion's been made. Do we have a second to that?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second made. Roll call vote, or we do a discussion. Any discussion?
No.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bartoltz?
Yes.
Mr. Weiskopf?
Yes.
Mr. Roberto?
Yes. So the motion has passed. Congratulations, guys. We appreciate you working in the community and making things better, and we look forward to great things. I have no unfinished business on my docket. We need to move to approve the minutes from the September 23rd meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved?
And I'll second it since I was there. Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartoltz?
Yes.
Mr. Weiskopf?
Yes.
Mr. Roberto?
Yes. And our next meeting is to be announced. We have no administrative matters, I see, other than.
We do,
like I
actually.
said,
I forgot to mention that.
all right.
Joe Kramer, our alternate, resigned, so there will be a new alternate starting next year. And also, this is my last zoning meeting, so I appreciate all the guidance you guys have given me, but I am moving on to a new position through our new development department per the township. So I'm sure you will always, or you can always reach out to me, and I'm sure I'll reach out to you at some point, so.
Well, we appreciate the years of service you've done to this department. You've been great to help. I mean, just the time that you've come in, the improvements we've seen within the, the structure and organization, and we do appreciate all that you've done. We hope that it continues to continue as you've set it up.
I think I'm doing something right, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, some people have some big shoes to fall behind you, so we appreciate what you've done. I'm looking forward to you some great things with the township, so
Thank you.
it's awesome.
I appreciate it.
And then who's going to be replacing you? Yet to be
That's up in the
announced?
air right now. We're figuring that out.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, very good. So then we also have a card for Tom Reininger,
yeah.
who's having some medical procedure. And so if you haven't had the opportunity to sign it, we'd appreciate it if you would. And we wish him well. Let's do that on record. We pray that everything goes well for him and that he has a speedy recovery. And with that, I don't have anything else on my minutes. We will adjourn.